Greetings, it is 11:27 on August 4th, and I'm coming to talk to relationships again, and I'm going to focus on the female gender a bit, from a male perspective, of course, but hopefully, ladies, this will help you deepen your relationship and find some things that you can do to make home happy for both of you all. And I'm gonna start by saying Proverbs 31, Ephesians 5, 1 Corinthians 11, Ephesians chapter 4, and even James chapter 1. I'll be coming from those. In James, faith without works is dead. Ephesians 5 gives the unconditional guidelines for marital relationships for both parties. 1 Corinthians 11 as well. If Proverbs 31 gives the ideal woman based on having some business about herself, where she sells linen, speaks well of her husband in public, rises early, makes sure the household is taken care of. And some of these things are just the template set out there. And remember, we're under grace, so it's I'm gonna say Proverbs 31 is sometimes difficult for some people, especially if you do not have a threshold that can handle stress well. So first, let me say, if you're a selfish woman, then you probably shouldn't be in a relationship. If 80 or more percent of the things have to go your way for you to feel okay, you're not ready for a relationship. If you feel that there are conditions on let me preface and say you're already in the commitment. You're already committed to this relationship. You're already married or whatever. When you put conditions on what you're going to do, I'm not going to do this because they didn't apologize. Or matter of fact, they didn't apologize the way I wanted them to apologize. And matter of fact, I didn't get this done, so I'm not going. When you put conditions on what you do not fulfill the law of love. Love God first. Love your neighbor as yourself. So we all gonna fall short. We all gonna have mistakes. The most powerful thing you can do, and this is pretty much the motivation behind doing this one, is the experience of having. The most powerful thing you can do as a woman is to encourage your mate when he feels defeated. And that's a twofold. Does he feel safe enough to even communicate that he feels defeated or less than? We all have moments. Is your man safe enough to have a moment with you? Not necessarily an argument, but just to not be okay. Is he safe enough not to be okay around you? Even if that not being okay is based on something you did to him. Is he safe enough to communicate, hey, when you said this, it made me feel like this? Without you coming back and saying, well, pointing the blame. How about just trying to understand and worrying about how it got to it later, and just hearing somebody out and saying, that's not what I want. Accepting responsibility, saying I apologize. When men feel like they are supposed to be machines and all they can do is never gonna be enough. All they can do is make money, do chores, massage you, rub your feet, wash the clothes, whatever, and you just never satisfied with anything, even in him helping you do stuff that you're doing, there's something wrong with that. It's signs of selfishness. Selfishness is a root. I ain't gonna say the only root. Is a root of relationship destruction. And I'm not saying every guy is going to massage your feet, wash the clothes, and this, that, and the other. But if the guy is trying, if he's doing in the relationship, I'm not even gonna say what the role should be, but if he's doing in the relationship, support him. One of the worst things you can do is tear down a man's dreams. He will not feel safe to communicate with you, and he will find somebody else, male or female, with whom he can share his dreams with to get that support that he wants, or internalize and allow anger to create a wall where he implodes and hopefully not explodes on you at some point. And yeah, we should all be holding up to have anger management, but at the same time, when everything is do you, and especially if all you offering is sex, I mean, like, that gets old after a while. I mean, maybe in your early 20s and teens, that's what a guy thinks matters, because he hadn't really found himself or knows any better, or learned what it means to be a man, or even learn what it means to be a human being. Forget about male or female, just what it means to be a human being, what it means to be complete, what it means to let God be enough. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm still learning on God being enough. Judge me, I don't care. But seriously, if you can't make your man feel safe with you, how long he gonna be your man? If your man is regularly trying to support dreams and things that you're doing and investing in you, even if he don't like your business, if he's regularly investing in you because he loves you, you might want to treat him a little better. We all got room to improve, especially if he's saying, hey, I want your attention. I understand you're busy, but if we rocking together, can you do some of what I asked you to do? If everything got to be on your terms, it's not a relationship. It's not a give and take. Remember, sex is a mutual act, and you can't expect that to be the cure-all for everything. It's not. At the end of the day, the best sexual intercourse comes from deep intimacy on both parts, where both parties are sharing with each other. And yes, guys, the expectation is you doing your part. And yes, guys, the expectation is that you make your mate feel safe. And yes, guys, the expectation is that you are committed to the relationship. But ladies, it's enough stuff out here saying about how bad a man is. And I really don't like getting political, but I would like to say, I was listening to the radio, random moment. I rarely listen to the radio, but I want to speak on the situation with Dr. Dre. And there was a comment about taking care of the grandkids. And the assumption was that he should take care of his grandkids. And obviously it's that way because he's the moneymaker, and his daughter is supposedly homeless or what have you, and it's like 4 kids or whatever. And I'm just like, how is that so? How do you know what terms that daughter and father are on? Especially a 38-year-old daughter. My thought process is, yes, the grandkids never asked to be here. And yes, care should be provided for them. But what about their daddies? They got daddies. She done did something with some man to bring them children on there. And why are we so quick to judge people when we don't know all the details? And yeah, we want to say we'll go to court and, fight for our kids, and I'm just automatically, really? You automatically? That just don't work like that. Just because you got money, that don't make you a good parent. If money makes people a good parent, why are rich kids committing suicide? Money don't make you, just because you can throw money at problems, that exacerbates the situation a little bit more than makes a remedy for it. Meaning extends the problem from being fixed. I know when you can't throw money at situations, something got to happen, something got to break. And it ain't always just dealing with it. It's in the terms of, I just grin and bear it. It's like, we got to fix this. And the sad reality is, a lot of breakups occur because people are in that selfish mind of, we don't want to fix it. And I just like to say, until you know the details about a situation, why be so judgmental on somebody else's business? We so quick to tell somebody else what they should be doing about their situation, but what about our situation? And it goes back to relationships. We so steady looking at the plank in somebody else's, the speck in somebody else's eye versus the plank in our own eye. It's not cool. It's not scriptural. It's not godly. But who really cares about being spiritual these days? Being in relationship with God these days? That's why we keep getting what we get. I never forget, I had a past mate tell me that since they're not in a relationship or seeking a relationship, they can be selfish. And every bit of me wanted to be like, when have you not been selfish? Man, I'm gonna leave that right there, because it's just like everything was about you and supposed to be on your terms. And I was never good enough, no matter what I did or tried. So I'm just say that to say, folks, look, stop putting conditions on your relationship. Stop holding your man to standards that you cannot meet yourself in a relationship. And if you are only receiving, your brokenness is so deep and your cuts are so large that it's sad to see the amount of love just pour out of you, not from you giving it to somebody, but from you really just leaking it out because you don't appreciate it. You can't give any love back because your heart is not intact. You don't recognize the relay in the relationship, the giving back, unless it's given on your terms, and then you want to throw that up and say, well, I did. Grown relationships are a constant sowing into each other. Grown relationships give and take. Grown relationships listen without interruption, itching to give an answer. Grown relationships don't shoot below the belt with name calling. Grown relationships Mature relationships don't keep nagging somebody about something that they trying to get done when, male or female, when you know they got X, Y, and Z on their plate. It gives grace to say, hey, I understand. I got you. Grown relationships realize the mental health of both parties and say, hey, look, we don't have to do this right now. We can take a pause. We can put this on the shelf, meaning put a certain sensitive topic on the shelf, because we recognize if we keep exacerbating the conversation, we're going to keep drawing a wedge between us. And let's focus on us a little bit more than that one problem that we're dealing with. And even if it's multiple problems, if the majority of the relationship is doing what it needs to do, we can navigate around that until we find out, or manifestation of our prayers happen to help get a solution for it. Grown relationships grow together, recognizing, hey, I see that, I study you, I learn you, I figure out what is working for you, what is not working for you. I grow and learn to say, hey, I don't want to burn you like that anymore. I see how that hurts you. And on the other half, it say, hey, I see you working toward that goal. Maybe you made a slip here, but it was a slip versus an actual fall. And I see you caught yourself trying to, when you almost went there with that. So, hey, I'm going to celebrate the steps. Because at the end of the day, we all trying to improve. And if you can't celebrate the steps of somebody, especially your mate, showing improvement, what that say about you? How shallow are you? Val or Hal? How shallow are you? Do you think that just because you fine and you look good, I'm supposed to be glad that you mine? What do I get? What do I get when I get you? What do I really get? Another headache? Another bill? Another something I got to help heal? Because you broker than the 10 Commandments when Moses dropped them on the side of Mount Sinai. I'm stealing that from my pastor. But I'm just saying, like, for real, what do we get when we get you? Do you think that and I see so many folks sitting up here trying to be fine, and I'm going to work out, I'm going to be healthy. Physically, that is the least. Let me tell you something. I would rather have a ugly, fat woman who is so unattractive to everybody else, but beautiful to me because she treat me like she treat me like I want to be treated. And it's somebody I can treat like I can really love because they let me love them. Not on my terms. I can study you and learn your love language and love you on your terms. And you celebrate the fact that, hey, I don't have to have the Barbie doll, but guess what? I would like to have, because see, Barbie doll means a model chick, as a toy, but it's a model chick. And I don't have to have the stereotypical Barbie doll to have the model relationship that God has said we're supposed to have, where I don't put conditions on how I treat you. I recognize the input in the relationship, and I say, okay, this is what's going on. Maybe I need to pray over this guy or lady. Maybe I need to study in this area because I see we got problems here. Maybe I need to seek some counseling to get myself right so I'm not so selfish. Maybe I need to recognize what was going on in my parent situation that I brought over into my situation. Maybe I'm trying to live up to what the expectation of all these other failed relationships were in some conscious way, and recognize that I'm seeking a self-fulfilling prophecy of destruction because I saw that happen in so many of my previous generations' situation. Maybe I really don't believe in God's word at all. Maybe I really don't believe that it can work for me. Maybe I did so much dirt with other folks that I keep thinking that dirt gonna come back on me and reap a harvest, instead of saying, hey, I'm forgiven and I got a new slate with this new person, and I don't have to bring that baggage here, and I don't have to bring that trigger, because every time I'm triggered, I'm shooting. Think about it. A trigger is pulled to shoot something. And just because somebody triggers a response from you, that don't mean you have to shoot that same venom at them. When you gonna learn yourself? When you gonna learn yourself? Are you really ready? Are you really wanting to be whole? Your test is when that trial hits you head on. When that trial hits you head on, what are you going to do about it? What you going to do? That trial going to come. And as soon as that trial come and that trigger hit, it's a test to say, have you really grown from that situation? Have you really forgiven from that situation? So I'm going back to my premise. What are you doing to say you treating your mate the way they need to be treated? What responsibility are you taking for your issues, your stuff that's just yours? Not the other person. That's your junk. Can you even recognize your junk? Are you so messed up in the head that you can't even recognize you walking around dead and killing folks left and right with your mouth and actions and reactions because you trying to manipulate and control somebody else? How they should act? Because you can't control yourself. Because you feel like because you pretty, you can act stupid, sedity. Stupid mean you should know better. Think. Think about the seeds you sow. Think about what you do. Don't nobody want to ride or die chick no more. Not real relationships. Want to ride a life. Add life to me. Multiply the life to me. Guard your garden too, as I'm spraying over you and guarding your garden. By what you allow to be filtered in or out of you. Help me meet some of my goals. Does that help you meet some of yours? Guard the garden of your mind. Don't be so hooked on social media that you can't discern between what's God's word and what's tainted word that make you more selfish than you should be. Love your neighbor as yourself. Esteem the other higher than you. Think about it. Man see love and submission. And it ain't just laying on your back or stomach or however. It's not. It's not. Real love says, I can hear you and I'm going to support you. And baby, you are right. You can do it. Why do you think football and basketball and all these other sports have cheerleaders in them? You going to be a cheerleader or a cheerleader? How you going to allow your prophetic spirit or mouth speak over your mate, your kids even? What you really saying? Are your actions supporting it? Is it just for show to make you look good? What embarrasses you when stuff don't look good? When you can't come around keeping up the facade of being whole? Give me that real. Tell y'all guys something. Y'all be careful who y'all commit to. Make sure you penetrate that mind before you penetrate from behind. That's all I'm going to say. Penetrate the mind before you penetrate from behind. Because if it's not in line with where you want to go and the goals y'all trying to reach, sex get old real quick. Real quick. Be careful before you pick a mate. Because if you're going to serve this woman and be responsible for the kids that come out of this woman, recognize, is she selfish? What is she doing in return? What she do for you? What she do for you? Like for real, what she do for you? What she do for you that you need her to do for you? Or do she just do what she want to do on her terms? Y'all didn't think about what y'all commit to. Now, if God telling you and leading you and saying, hey, this is the one you need to be with, that's something different. But you got a right to choose what is presented before you. You got a right to choose what's presented before you. Now, I'm going to say one thing. When God say no, let it go. Leave it alone. Before you start creating all these love cords and your loyalty get there and, take you from your path. But think about it. What do you get? What are you going to get? People don't change easily. Shatter the social media, worldly images, fictitious fantasies, so that God can show you the reality, the work that it needs to be done daily to say, hey, I'm yours to love, and you're mine to love. You don't own nobody. You don't own nobody. The reason we put a ring on the finger is to show that this phallus is owned by that vagina. And this vagina, the ring, is owned by that phallus. To be exclusively used by one another. We are taken. Just another spin on it. Be careful before you allow somebody to put a ring on you, male or female. And I'm going to say, ladies, don't just think that just because you're a woman that you automatically have carte blanche on everything. Happy wife, happy life. What you doing to make yourself happy? How are you adding to that man? You can make a Superman by supporting your man, building him up, encouraging him. And yes, he should do the same to you as well. So, there it is. I guess I'm going to call this, don't let the selfishness in relationship wreck the vessel carrying you. I'll play with that, but it's probably going to say something to the selfishness wrecks the ship in the relation. Y'all have a good one. Bye.